If your manager has started talking about a new AI tool at work, something that's meant to help with productivity, visibility, or efficiency, I want you to pause for a second, because that tool probably isn't for productivity at all. Productivity is just the excuse. What it's actually doing is changing how your value is measured, and once that changes, everything about your job security quietly shifts with it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to explain to you what these tools are really built for, why managers love them, and the one mistake office workers make that puts them on the wrong side of the change without even realizing it. But first, here's the thought that most people don't want to confront. If a company truly trusted our work was happening, it wouldn't need software to watch it. Here's how these tools usually enter the workplace. Not with fear, not with pressure, with reassurance. They're introduced as something that helps everyone. They promise clarity, they promise fewer meetings, they promise smoother workflows, they promise better collaboration. And managers genuinely believe that story, at least at first. But behind the language of productivity is a much more powerful motivation: control over uncertainty. Because managers don't struggle with productivity, they struggle with not knowing. Not knowing who's overloaded, not knowing who's coasting, not knowing where delays actually come from. AI tools solve that problem, not by spying, but by turning behavior into data. And once behavior becomes data, it becomes comparable. That's the real shift. Your manager's new AI tool doesn't care how hard you work. It cares how predictable you are, how consistent your output is, how often your work creates follow-up instead of resolution, and how long tasks sit untouched. It's not judging effort, it's reducing uncertainty. That's why these tools feel neutral at first. They don't feel aggressive, they don't feel personal, they just quietly observe. But observation changes incentives, because once work is visible in this way, managers stop managing people, they start managing patterns, and patterns are easier to optimize than humans. This is why AI tools don't start by firing people, they start by ranking work, not officially, not in dashboards you see, but internally. Workflows become scored, teams becomes measurable, and slowly decisions that used to be subjective become mathematical. Who needs support, who can handle more, who creates friction, and who could be removed without things breaking? Those answers didn't exist clearly before. AI creates them. And this is where office workers misunderstood what's happening. They think the tool is measuring output, but output is the least interesting thing. What this system is really learning is how dependent the organization is on you, and dependence is the opposite of replaceability. If your absence creates confusion, delay, or risk, that's visible. If your absence barely registers, that's visible too. That's why these tools aren't about productivity, they're about resilience. They help companies understand how work would continue if someone disappeared. Now here's the part nobody likes hearing. The people most at risk aren't the ones doing bad work. They're the ones doing clean, smooth, predictable work that fits perfectly into the system. Because predictable work is easy to redistribute, easy to automate, and easy to compress. And when AI tools highlight that, they don't trigger panic, they trigger optimization. Teams don't get fired, they get leaned out. Roles don't disappear, they get merged, and headcount doesn't stop suddenly, it erodes. And this is why so many office workers feel blindsided later. Because where there was no single moment where things went wrong, the system just slowly learned that fewer people could carry the same load. So what should you actually be worried about? Not whether your manager likes you, not whether you're busy, not whether you hit every task. You should be worried if your work doesn't create consequences. AI tools are very good at spotting work that produces output without impact. Work that keeps the machine moving but doesn't steer it. Work that looks productive but doesn't change decisions, reduce risk, or influence outcomes. That kind of work is easy to measure and easy to reduce. Now here's the mistake that makes it worse. A lot of office workers respond by trying to look even more efficient. They optimize themselves into invisibility. They close tickets faster. They deliver faster. They say yes to everything. And the system learns exactly what it needs to learn, that this amount of work can be done with less resistance. Efficiency without leverage is dangerous. The safer move isn't to look faster, it's to look necessary. And necessary doesn't mean being loud or political, it means anchoring your work to things the system can't easily smooth out. Decisions, trade-offs, judgment, accountability when things go wrong. AI tools struggle with responsibility. They struggle with context, they struggle with situations where the right answer isn't obvious. That's where humans still matter. So here's something practical you can do. starting immediately. Listen to how your work is described in meetings. If it's framed as throughput, how much you completed, how much you responded, how much tasks you closed, that's fragile. If it's framed as outcomes, what improved, what risk was avoided, what decision was supported, that's stronger. Start steering conversations in that direction naturally, not defensively, not dramatically, just clearly. Instead of explaining what you did, explain what changed because you did it. Because when your manager's AI tools look at the system, it's not about who worked the hardest, it's asking what breaks if this person is gone. Assume the tool is already there. Assume behavior is already visible and stop trying to outwork it. Instead, focus on being the person whose absence creates uncertainty, not relief. If your disappearance would cause confusion, slow decisions, or introduce risk, that's protection. If your disappearance would be quietly absorbed by the system, that's danger. Your manager's new AI tools isn't for productivity, it's for understanding dependence. And once you understand that, you can stop reacting emotionally and start positioning yourself intelligently. If you want some clarity, comment down below your exact job role and I'll let you know how long roughly you have got until AI will be taking over your job, and I'll tell you how you can optimize to be able to prevent this happening for as long as possible. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for everything AI and office worker related. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.